Hey friends, I know that I'm about 5, 6 days behind, gosh, maybe more now on this, but for those of you following along on the Booker bracket, I wanted to make a short video with my reaction to the shortlist. Before we get started, I want to say this is not something I normally do. I don't have any like fancy equipment. I'm not going to edit this. There's no special lights here. So this is kind of maybe a one take on my reaction. And the reason I'm stepping outside of my comfort zone here is that for the first time in my history with the Booker Prize, I chose in my Booker bracket 4 out of 6 of the shortlisted books. And I'm so excited because for the first time ever, it feels like I'm in alignment with the judges. And interestingly enough, the only two that I did not select were two I hadn't read yet. So I am prepared to be excited and surprised. And I actually had planned on reading them, so I own them. How about that? That's another first. I actually have in my hands a copy of all of the shortlist books. So I'm going to start with and I'm going to talk about a few things that were not included in some of the other Booker reactions. For me, a book is not just the author and the writing in this story, but it's also a physical object. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the copies that I was able to get a hold of in the United States here. So let's start with what I have not read. I have not read Anne Michael's Held. However, I'm very excited to. And can we talk about Deckled Edges? This is probably, nope, definitely the most beautifully produced. Knopf, you killed it. Deckled Edges, really nice, really heavy paper. This is a pet peeve of mine. I know that producing books is super expensive, and I know one way to cut costs is definitely cheaper paper. But in terms of a physical object and something that I'm going to keep for a long time and want to read and reread, good paper is important to me. Another thing, and this is a quibble, a very small quibble, none of these books have laminated dust jackets. I love a laminated dust jacket. The only one this year that I got out of this list that had one was Enlightenment, that had a laminated dust jacket. However, so for those of you that are like, well, what do I do if they didn't? You can buy those really great library, like the little plasticky film that makes that really satisfying crinkling sound. You can actually purchase, I'm trying to see if anything within reach. Yeah. This, right? You can buy this stuff and apply it to your favorite books. So never fear if the book that you purchased didn't have it and you want to keep it forever. That is an option. Okay, moving on. The next one, and I just started this, is Creation Lake. I do not think this one is going to be our winner this year. It's an interesting read. So it's that kind of got a spy. It's a spy novel, and it has a real literary bent. Kushner's an excellent writer. I think the genre itself is the only thing that's making me sort of reluctant to choose this. I don't think, I would be surprised if spy novel genre is something that would stand the test of time. I know there is space for that, and I would love to see it happen, and if it does happen, this is definitely where it will happen. But I'm not so sure about it being the winner. In terms of a physical object, whew, this cover, guys, gorgeous. The paper, not so great. It's okay. Pretty thin, kind of rough. I'm always a little heartbroken when the paper's not so great. Also, another thing that I thought was an interesting aesthetic choice. I don't know that I like the color of the book itself. So, there you have it. Unimportant details. I'm enjoying this one so far. It's not my usual genre, so we will see how this turns out. Okay, getting into books that I have read. Ooh, folks, Stoneyard Devotional. Again, I don't think this is going to be the winner. However, beautiful cover. I was not able to, let me back up a little. I was not able to get a hardcover. When the list came out, for those of us in the United States, there's this thing where it may not have been published in the US yet. You can only get, what you can get from overseas. This was my only option at the time. I have seen some hardcover books, and I have not liked the cover as much, so I'm kind of glad I have this one. This is an amazing book. It's kind of somewhere, if you're into books that tackle in a very forward way large issues like grief and forgiveness, like big existential things, this is definitely for you. It also has some really beautiful like nature writing in it. Trigger warning for those of us who are really sensitive to animal stuff. So there's 2 pieces in here that involve animal death. One piece, there's enough distance between the reader and the occurrence that it doesn't feel, it didn't hit me personally really hard, but if you're sensitive to that, just be aware that there's another piece in there that can kind of be a little discomforting. Discomforting? Is that a word? I'm just making things up. I told y'all, one take. Really great book. Now we're getting into my top 3, and these are my bets for the winner. Let's start with The Safe Keep. Holy smokes, y'all. I went through a World War II historical fiction phase, and I was kind of over it because I hadn't really seen anything that struck me as new or fresh. This is both new and fresh. It does this amazing thing. It takes, everyday experiences and puts a new light on them. It really made me see the world differently, and I like that. That's something I asked for in a book. This has sort of, so it's got some World War II pieces, it's got some love stories, some romance pieces. Normally things that I'm really not all that interested in, I could not put this down. Also, Penguin. If anyone from Penguin is listening, for the love of all things holy, please do something about the paper. I know it's expensive. However, y'all killed the end papers. How beautiful is that? Gorgeous. And the cover is gorgeous. So this is a really nice book. The dust jacket itself, really could, my personal soapbox, laminate those things. Again, expensive, but I will pay for something I'm going to keep and reread, and I'm definitely going to keep and reread this one. Okay. Saving my favorite book from the list, bar none, hands down, Orbital is going to be on my forever favorites list. There was a lot of squabbling about, complaining, gnashing of teeth about this not having a plot, and I'm gonna say fair. I think there's a plot, that I think it's small. It's more subtle than Stoneyard Devotional, which has a pretty subtle plot. That does not, the writing is so beautiful. To me, it's a piece of art, and it doesn't, for me, detract from how much I loved it, obviously. This one was a perspective changer. I know this is going to come as a surprise, but I've never been to space. And, I can't even imagine that experience, but Harvey made it possible for me to imagine that experience, and more importantly, made it possible for me to feel that experience. The writing, y'all, is just, it's beautiful. If you like beautiful prose and not sparse, clean prose, this isn't like James. We'll come to that next. But if you like really beautiful sentences that you could almost chew on, this one is for you. Also gorgeous cover, also garbage paper, for the love of all things holy. It's really beautiful, and the choice of the color of this is really fun. So, not laminated. I will never get off that soapbox. It's beautiful, and it's different, and I really, really, really love it. So, going on my forever favorite shelf. I hope you read this one if you don't read anything else. If that sounds like something you'd be interested in. Okay, this is my pick for the winner, and Percival Everett said he dared someone to give a bad review. So, all right, friend. I didn't love this. I thought it got kind of slow in the middle. This is a tough one to review because the writing is so damn good. You couldn't pick cleaner writing. Like, I think if y'all follow along with me, you may have read the post about comparing Everett with Steinbeck. I mean, whew, this human can write. I mean, fire. Like an incredible writer. So I think the writing was not the problem that I had. And it's interesting, there's a blurb on the back where Dave Eggers said, "This is a brilliant, accessible, and very necessary companion to Huckleberry Finn." Eggers, I hate to argue with you, if that's how you pronounce his name, but I think Huckleberry Finn is a companion to this. This is the book that should have been written. And it was written, I mean, he just writes it well. It's just a personal taste thing. And it could be where we are in the cultural milieu. I'm going to keep this on my shelf to reread later. This one's going to stand the test of time, folks. We're going to be... This is going to show up on collegiate lists years from now. Also, gorgeous. Gorgeous. I mean, this is everything I want in a cover design. Sparse. Good colors, bright colors. Again, Doubleday, your paper's a little better. Not top notch. And I love a deckled edge, so, you know, not deckled edges here. I think this one should win if the Booker is looking at novels that are going to stand the test of time. I don't know that any of these other books are really going to stand that test of time. This is. This is a very necessary piece of writing, even if it's not something that I loved. And I think he deserves... He's been on every awards list known to man, I think. I think he deserves a big one for this. If you have not read this, I would say my three that I feel like you should visit if you're only gonna like get a little bit of this list would definitely be Orbital, James, and the Safekeep. So that, my friends, is my list, my reactions. I'm really excited to see who the winner is. I'm looking forward to that. Thank you so much for bearing with my kind of rambly video. And thanks for being a part of this reading project with me. I've really enjoyed I've gotten some comments off of the Substack, so thank you for those of you that have reached out and shared. Some of y'all I know personally, and I think you're brilliant, and your comments are brilliant. So thank you so much. And thank you to all of the wonderful writers and the judges. I cannot imagine how difficult it is. Actually, I've been on a prize list reading committee, and y'all, it's a lot of material to cover. It's a ton of reading, and there's a lot of responsibility that comes with it. And that's why I'm no longer a part of it, because it's a lot. And so I just want to say thank you to the judges, and thank you to the wonderful authors and to the publishers for all your hard work in bringing this prize and bringing this excitement to all of us. It's just been a wonderful experience.